time again for Skip and Guess. With a personality as bright and warm as a ray of sunshine, this actress has captivated audiences on stage, screen, and TV. Everyone's favorite is Betsy Palmer. Making a welcome return to show business is this current star of the Hollywood Roosevelt Civic Grill and former star of your hit parade, the delightful Jill Corey. And now, here's your man of the half hour, Skip E Lowe.
Betsy Palmer,
Skip E Lowe.
tell me something. You're so California today.
Well, I'm a
but you're not-
California lady these
Now,
days.
how long have you been in California lady?
Actually, about 7 years ago, a short live series brought me here.
Uh-huh.
And I decided I had never lived west. Never. I was always from the East Coast
Me
and
too.
originally from Indiana.
Yeah.
And,
Are you really Indiana? Where? Where?
East Chicago, Indiana.
I'm from
outside
Rockford.
Chicago.
Rockford,
Illinois.
yeah.
I know Rockford.
I know you do because
Used to
you
go to the
started
prison
in
by moonlight.
You went to
down
the
at
Playhouse in
El-
Geneva. Geneva Playhouse. Lake Geneva.
Lake Geneva
What a
was
place.
my first summer stock job.
Uh-huh.
And then after I was there for 8 weeks, there were two men that came from Woodstock, Illinois, that were going to put a group of 11 people together at the little Playhouse, the Opera House there.
Right.
As a matter of fact, I'm going to be speaking there next month at the Opera House. And I haven't been there since 1949.
Speaking about
About having been there in those years.
Ah.
And there was another person in that group of 11 that who married his first wife that winter, and she said, I want you to get out of show business because you're never going to make any money at it, and I want children and all that. And that was Paul Newman. And PL and I, we were 6 months. We all worked together, the 11 of us.
Paul Newman.
Paul. PL, we called him
Yeah,
in those days, yes.
You went to? Did you go to Northwestern?
No, I went to
You went
DePaul.
to
DePaul University. And
That
the
was
school
a good
was at
one. That's
night.
a good school.
Well, I worked with a very wonderful man and his daughter, David Itkin, who is now dead. He taught at the Goodman during the daytime.
Tell me something.
But Jerry Page directed me in my first one act I was ever in school.
Because I started around Chicago too.
Did you?
Yeah,
Oh,
I was
well,
in the
then
50s
you
and
know.
early 50s. I was in Chicago,
That's
and
when
I went to
I went to New
Rockton, Illinois. I did the show Phineas Rainbow in Rockton and all those.
Oh, I didn't
remember.
realize you were a performer.
Yes. Oh yeah, I was many years.
Ah.
But tell me something, Betsy. From then, New York. Is that it?
I had been in summer stock for about 2 years, I think it was 3 years, and in '51,
Right.
I decided to, well, actually a number of people had encouraged me to go to either coast. The first one was Imogene Coca. I was doing Happy Birthday with her. Mady Christians, Burgess Meredith, they all said, girl, leave Chicago. You mustn't stay here. Go to either coast, but really get your career going, or it will just die here in Chicago. So I went home after I had played with $400 I had accumulated in the summer, and I said to my parents, in 2 weeks I'm going to New York, and I did, with
And what
$400.
happened when you first arrived to New York, Betsy Palmer? What happened to Betsy
I was
Palmer?
actually there 5 days, and my roommate and I went to a party at her sister's house. And Toby, who was married to Frank, remember the guy in Gomer Pyle that was the sergeant? Frank. Oh, well, anyway, Frank's gone now.
Yes.
But anyway, at that party, I walked in the door, and there was a man in the corner sitting around with other men around him, and he said, well, she's the perfect type. And he said, come here, honey. And I walked over, and it was Norman Lessing, who was a writer and producer, director. And Norman said to me, he said, are you an actress? And I said, yes. He said, Monday, go up to the Ted Ashley office, which was not then a casting agent. He was public relations, I think, or something. And tell them I want you to read for this role. And it was this Miss Susan show, which was with Susan Peters, and it was a live soap opera, which originated from Philadelphia. And the man interviewed me on Monday, and he said, can you play a Southern girl? And I said, I sure enough can, honey.
If you're from the Midwest, you certainly can.
So, well, what happened was that I got the job, and that was my first job. I was in New York 5 days when I got
A lot of
the job.
people remember Betsy Palmer. What's my line?
No, What's My Line was not my show.
That's it. What was it?
I've got a secret.
I've got a secret.
But it was a good syntax show.
But what's
And
my
they were-
line? And
I used to substitute on What's My Line, yes, for Dorothy Kilgallen and
But tell
Arlene
me,
and
I've
all.
got my secret. They always think of you as that part, though, don't they? A lot of people.
Yes, I was always known as a game player. I had gone from actually a masquerade party with Ilka Chase and Ogden Nash and Bobby Sherwood. You remember Bobby Sherwood, I bet.
Betsy's talking to
To
Jill
lovely Jill
Corey.
Yes, I'm here too.
Hi,
Hi,
Jill's
Skip.
at the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel. How are you, Jill?
I'm fine.
My
Jill.
honeymoon.
Jill Corey, good God. Haven't seen you in a long time.
I have
Saw
been
you-
away a long, long time.
Saw your performance at the Hollywood Roosevelt
Did you,
opening
Skip?
night.
Did
And I
you?
thought you were just one. Betsy, you haven't seen her.
Thank
You've
No, I have
got to
not.
go see her. She is just
She's always
fresh.
been a great talent.
Really, she tells a song when she acts. You really put everything into it.
Well, yes, this is cabaret. This is not a nightclub. This is cabaret, and it's like a theater piece. And it's just me, my music, and my pianist, and my audience. That's the only participants.
That's all you need.
That's
all, really. Not a big
and
band.
Everything has to, like, tell a story. I
Right.
can't just sit up there and be a band singer.
No.
There's no band. You know,
You know what I like
I can never rely on my bass player
Right.
or my drum player. So the feeling and the emotion and the tempos and everything has to come from Dick Gallagher, my pianist, and myself, and from Harold Arlen's music. I'm doing a tribute
And
to
then
Harold
the
Arlen.
audience
And the
itself
audience.
that
And
sets
if
you on fire.
and if they are sitting on their hands, and I am, you know, singing my heart out. It doesn't matter if I'm soaring, the notes are soaring, and if they are not with me, at that moment, nothing happens. It just lies there like
Isn't that the challenge of a living audience? That's why I love theater. I've been in it 38 years now.
38.
38
Live
years, yeah.
people, that's-
Yeah, but you get the feedback all the time.
They're
You know
part
when
of
you
the
have them.
performance.
You know when you don't have them.
Yes.
If you don't have them, it's so lovely to win them, to win them, and to get them in your little palm of your hand. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I still love doing everything live.
Jill,
Yes.
coal miner's daughter. Did you know that? She's from Pennsylvania.
Avonmore,
She's a real
Pennsylvania.
singing coal miner's daughter.
You're from the coal territory, and I was from East Chicago, Indiana, with steel mills and gas companies, oil
My
companies.
daddy worked the coal mines
Yeah.
for your steel mills.
My daddy worked in the steel mills. That's right. Yes, he did. So there you
Jill,
are.
so you grew up around Pennsylvania area.
Avonmore, Pennsylvania, 40 miles east of Pittsburgh, yes. And
Went to New York, met Mitch Miller.
I had a really good story. She took 5 days. I only took 5 hours.
5 hours. I mean, you really hit the top right over. Tell us
Yeah, I
about
was
that.
17 years old and singing with a dance band, and somebody sent a tape of my voice to Mitch Miller,
Right.
who was the A&R man for Columbia Records.
Right.
And somehow or another, he listened to it and loved it because it was a cappella and because it had a change of key in it.
Right.
And he was impressed that I could stay in pitch. He called me in my small town. I flew to New York the next day, and with my sister and brother-in-law, because I was just 17, and auditioned for Mitch Miller, and my pianist was Percy Faith. And I was so impressed because this man could play in my
Great.
key. I mean, I came from such a small town that I had a radio show when I was 12, and I had to do the whole show a cappella every 15 minutes, once a week.
You were 12 years
When I
old.
was
You were
12 years old,
You
performing.
had a radio show.
I had my own radio show. Yeah.
How about Georgie Clare and Joe Hiller in Pittsburgh?
Oh, why are
I
you?
worked those clubs there in Pittsburgh. I worked Lenny Lippman's Copa.
Oh, I just spoke to Lenny.
Did you really?
Yes, he's doing fine. He's still writing for Variety, and he's doing great. But anyway, back to that first day, the tape was sent to Mitch. By the end of the day, I'll cut it short, I had a Columbia record contract.
Right.
Life magazine was taking pictures of me. I had auditioned for the Arthur Godfrey show, who was had a talent
showcase.
Talent showcase.
Right.
Exactly.
That's what it
and
was.
the Dave Garroway show had a new television series going on. I had all 4 of them, and then I flew home that night. 5 days.
Tell me about the Arthur. Tell me about the Arthur
Sorry about
Godfrey.
that.
Just kidding, darling.
Tell me about the Arthur Godfrey show. So you won. You got it.
Yes, but I did not accept the Arthur Godfrey show because it was only a guarantee of 4 weeks because it was an amateur hour, and if you won the first week, then you won the
Right,
second week,
right.
and then you won the third week, and you won the fourth week, and then you were out. Garroway offered me 13 weeks, but instead I was on for 39. I was on for the whole year. the
I
whole
worked
year.
with David, too.
Did you in Chicago?
Yes, you certainly did.
Chicago.
No.
I was the woman on the Today
On the
Show.
Today
I was one
Show.
of those ladies. Yeah.
You had
We were
your
called the girl. We were never
Betsy
called the
Palmer.
woman.
You've had several
I've
television
had very,
shows.
a variety of things.
Variety.
In my life.
Have you had a show about women, about married?
Well,
tell me about that show. About the
no, I did when Virginia Graham left
Right.
Girl Talk. I
Girl
took
Talk.
over for a year and a half,
Yes.
the last year and a half.
That
of
was a
the
good show.
I loved
Yeah, it was an interesting show. It was a
What's
fun
Betsy
show.
Palmer doing nowadays? And
What am I doing now?
Are you doing films now, or just television?
Well, the industry has changed, of course, tremendously.
Right.
and you have a lot of young people who don't know who you are. As a matter of fact, it's like I'm starting my career all over again. I have to go and audition as though I've never been in the business.
Isn't that amazing? These young girls are casting directors.
Humility.
Yeah.
It really does.
How do you feel, Betsy Palmer, when you have to go to audition for these young girls?
I thank them for letting me come because it gives me a chance to act.
Jill Corey?
And I don't usually get a chance.
What do you think about that?
I thought I should change my name to Norma Jean Speranza.
That's your real name.
That's my real name.
Deliana.
And just start all over and just see if I could get a job with just Norma Jean Speranza and my talent. I mean, because the name, it's because there's all new young 20-year-old casting people, and they just don't remember that all the television that we did, you know. How many television series did you have? I had 5.
Well, I never did a series, no.
Jill Corey, you have to realize these young kids watch television. Mr. Roberts. She's worked with Mr. Roberts. Yes, but the 5 films were Joan Crawford, Miss B. How about that?
That's right.
I
The
mean,
2 films were with John Ford directing.
and Henry Fonda.
Hank Fonda, and I did the first 2 movies I ever did.
And my
We did
favorite-
Mr. Roberts and the
My
Twin Star,
favorite was
Long
with
Gray Line.
Tyrone Power.
Yes, The Long Gray Line was my first
My
film.
favorite
Yeah.
film. Who was in that with you?
Maureen O'Hara. It was
a great
everybody,
film.
you know, in the
Great
the
film.
Ford
It's a great
stable.
film.
He always had the same people.
How was working
Mr.
with
Ford. I
Tyrone
loved him.
Power?
Oh, he was such a dear, gentle,
I had his wife
loving
on my show,
man.
Linda, several times.
Well,
and his daughter too.
That wasn't his last wife, but he was married to Linda when I was, yes, and Tara, was
Yes,
Tara
Tara
on the
Power,
show?
yes.
I
Yeah.
saw Tara when she was like a little toddler. Yes, that's because we
you
did
have-
that in 1954.
You have
that
children?
film.
How many?
I have 1 daughter, a wonderful, wonderful girl.
You
She's
seem
26.
very happy, Betsy Palmer.
I am. I think I'm probably more centered in my life than I've ever been. I think I would like to be more busy as far as my career is concerned, but I'm wondering if maybe it isn't time that maybe a whole new thing is going to start happening to me in my life. Maybe being only an actress is not where I'm supposed to be anymore. Maybe I'm supposed to be out there touching people in a different way. I'm very involved with working with people who are afflicted with AIDS.
Are
and
you
have been
really?
Yes, I work at the hospital, and I've met a lot of people that I'm in and out of their homes.
You're also with
And,
the Salvation Army.
Oh, I had worked with the
She
Salvation
has been
Army. I
with
was
the
on their
Salvation
advice
Army for many,
many,
years.
many years.
And
although out here they never contact me. I was on the advisory board in New York. 25 years, I think I was with them.
Do you know, that's my favorite organization.
Mine also.
You know why? Because they're so truthful and so honest, and they really help the people that need help. Am I right,
It's
Betsy?
not lip service. When they
It's-
say heart to hand to man and heart to God, they really mean it, and they
really
do
do
it.
it, don't they?
They really do. Yes.
Where
they
did that
really do.
started with Betsy Palmer by doing the Salvation Army?
So I've got a secret. All those things started that way. You know, you were a personality. You were somebody that had a name, and they wanted you because your name meant something. I find it rather lovely that all these years later that people still remember me, even though I haven't had as much exposure as I used to have on TV. But it's
about your
lovely
own
to
show?
have.
I think you should. How about your own show?
People say to me, don't you want to be on television anymore?
that's
Or
what-
why aren't you? I say, well, because I'm not a car that jumps over other cars. I don't know where my place is yet.
You know where you'd be?
I've taken where?
Fox. Why not? Take over that Fox on Channel 9, on Channel 11.
do
Is it
what?
to do your own show?
To do what in my own
I have-
show?
Well, you be the master of it. To host the young people, bring them on, talk to them, tell them where it's at. I think
Would you
you'd be
like to
wonderful.
produce it?
Yeah, if I knew someone, but I think someone like you would be wonderful. You have that certain
who knows? Who knows?
quality.
Maybe you've thrown a seed out into the air that
Exactly.
might catch.
Jill Corey, having a good time at the Hollywood Roosevelt.
Yes, I am. It's really wonderful being
Has
back
some
here.
great people opening night come to see you.
The last time I was out here for any length of time, which was, I was doing a television series with Johnny Carson for CBS.
Right.
And it was before The Tonight Show.
Yes.
And
yes.
our first television guest
I had forgotten
appearance
that
was
Johnny had
James
done that.
Arness.
James Arness.
Yeah,
Oh, my.
publishing Gunsmoke. So that's how long it's been since I've spent any time out here. So I did the Johnny Carson television show here for a year, and I also made a movie here. So I spent a couple of years off and on, and I did love it. And I used
I'm
to
crazy about
dress like that, and now I live in
I
New
love
York, and I
California.
dress like this.
I'm crazy about living here.
What makes you so
Just
crazy
love it.
about living
I love
in
the
California?
people, I love the climate, I love the territory, I love being able to see the sky.
You're from New Jersey. You lived in New Jersey. Is that right?
Well, I mean, after I was married, I lived in New York, really, for a
Yes.
number of years, and then
Right.
after our marriage, for about 3 years, then we went to New
To Jersey.
Jersey. My husband was a doctor, though, in New York. But I've been divorced from him this Christmas. It'll be 16 years. And I've never remarried. And we were married 20 years.
You have a man in your life, Edna?
No,
Right now?
no,
No.
not at all. I belong. You know, it's very interesting. It's hard for me to love only one person. I really was born loving people. And for me to devote my love only to one, on one, is a very difficult situation. It was very difficult for my husband, because when you love the world and the world loves you back, and you feel like spreading yourself out that way, I suppose that may have been one of the reasons why I've never become involved in another relationship or marriage, because there seems to be more important things in my life than just being tied to one. And I'm willing to be responsible for myself.
Yes.
No matter what happens in life, I'm willing to support myself and to do what I need to do. And I'm just one of those people that maybe I'm better off alone, loving many instead of one.
You're very spiritual, aren't you?
I hope so. I don't know.
Jill Corey. Man in your life right now?
My husband died in 1969, and I have not remarried. No, and I'm a born-again Christian, and so I'm heavy into discipling the Word of Christ.
You see, when you find God, you don't need a husband.
You don't need a husband. You're married to God, and that's what it is. And you're okay by yourself, and it's because you're not alone.
Because you're not
You're
alone.
not alone.
Do you have any children?
Well, I have a daughter. She's just like Betsy.
I understand your daughter's in the business.
My daughter's 22, and she's started out as a model.
I'm
and
26.
I know. She came out here a week ago, and she got her first audition. She got her first television movie, and I think it's going to be a Nightmare on Elm Street television series. So she was
Well, I did
certainly
Friday the 13th,
mutilated.
the first
I
time.
know.
You did. You did
Yeah.
I
Yes,
did that by a car. Would you believe that? I read the script and I said, nobody's ever going to see this piece of junk.
Yes, go ahead.
You
And that's
know,
why you did it, to buy a
and-
car?
And I did. My Mercedes had really broken down on the Connecticut Turnpike, and I was on that highway for 5 hours one morning, and I finally gave up on the car. I said, I need a new car. So the good Lord on Friday sent a script and said, 10 days work, and I said, 10 days work will allow me to buy the car, and it did. And it's very funny because everybody thinks with all the Friday the 13th that go around that I'm making residuals, you know, and making a lot of money. I make $15 a year. It costs them more to put that check out and send it to me than it does to have paid me residuals, I'm sure.
Queen Bee, I got to get back. Joan Crawford.
I
Tell me.
adored her.
You
I
adore-
adored her.
I had her daughter on last week, Christina.
Christina. I knew Christina. I knew Christina when
has
she
a
was
new
married
book
to
out.
Harvey Malinsky.
She's had a tough time. She's had a very tough time. She's got a new book out called Survivor. It's the time that she had her heart
She was
attack.
a lovely girl when I met her.
Lovely, lovely.
And she had a heart attack. I
Yes,
didn't know
after
that.
the book, their first book.
I
She's
didn't
had
know
some
that.
rough times.
Well, Joanne came back.
Tell me about, tell me about.
Every time I'm on my hands and knees on the floor, cleaning the floor, I say, Joanne, this one is for you. I called her Joanne, and she loved it, yes.
Did she?
She respected me very much as an actress. She respected the way I worked. And we stayed friends. I saw her in New York, and we stayed friends to the very end. We always had a very lovely relationship, and she was possessed about cleanliness of floors and things like that, but I am too in a funny way.
Yes.
I love to do my own housework.
Jill Corey, you got away from singing for a while, and you just returned in New York City a few months ago?
Yes, in May. In May and July, I worked at a club called Danny's Skylight Room, and it was very successful.
Right.
And I had about 7 or 8 rave reviews.
Right.
And so it kind of started things happening for me. So now I'm at the Cinegrill at the Hollywood Roosevelt.
And how, you're there 2 weeks.
2 weeks, right? And then I'm off. I'm going to be doing in Venice, Italy, and England. And the most thing I'm very, very proud of, and I want everyone to come to see me, because I know this is in New York also. I'm going to be at the Algonquin the last 2 weeks in March and the whole month of April. So things are happening.
You're a
I
singing
think we
actress,
need
though,
that.
really, aren't you?
Yeah,
Would you say?
I want, yeah.
Judy Garland was too. Wouldn't you say?
Thank you for
You love
saying
Garland,
Joe
don't
Corey
you?
and
When I
her-
see you, I think of Garland. I loved your opening number.
The world on the string.
The way you did it.
Yeah.
Dolores Gray was
Yes,
the first
yes.
song from the show.
But the way that Jill walked out with just the piano in this room, and the way she just did it, she got it around the
That's a
It's
Tiffany
just
setting for a
showmanship.
diamond, you
It was
see, really.
wonderful.
You don't need that. Tiffany settings were always the simple setting.
simple,
The simple
always.
setting of the jewel.
Yes.
And that's
But I
what
had
that's
friends their opening night. It was so
Who were there?
wonderful. Well,
Some-
Jack Haley Jr., who was my my first boyfriends, my first manager, Lloyd
Came in with Cornelia
Leipzig.
Guest, I understand. Did he come in with Cornelia or no?
I didn't meet her. And Lloyd Leipzig, my first manager, and Marty Cummer, one of my first agents. And
Barbara Luna.
And Barbara Luna and Linda Hopkins. And we just had a lot of my old friends there, and it was just nice.
Joni Summers. I
And
saw
V.
Joni,
Wayne and
Edie
Joni
Adams,
Summers and Edie Adams. And, yeah, we had a wonderful, wonderful
It's
opening.
sweet to have
And you were
accumulated so
warm.
many years,
Thank
isn't
you.
it?
Thank you all for being so kind to me. It was a great,
I'm coming to see you
opening.
again. You're closing on a Saturday
On
night.
Saturday.
On Saturday.
Right, it's cute.
She's wonderful. You've got to see her,
Please,
Betsy.
she
Really,
says she
Betsy.
doesn't go out nights.
You don't go out in California at nights, Betsy?
No, I don't go out anywhere at night other than when I work in the theater. I've worked in the theater all my life, and to be able to stay home at night is so wonderful that
Now,
when
you're
I have
like Lana
that
Turner.
opportunity-
She doesn't go out at all. She sits home, watches TV all
Well, I
night.
read a lot. I read a lot. No, I have my friends over. I enjoy cooking and
That's-
entertaining people.
yeah.
But just small groups. It's
Uh-huh.
my life is. I was just saying, and I'm sorry I talked over you when you were speaking before, but it's so beautiful to have accumulated all the years that I have as far as life is concerned. I'm on the other side of the hill now. And I'll be 62 in November. And to have had all of those wonderful years and everything that I have had and experienced in my life has just made a patina of a style of a lifestyle that I enjoy tremendously.
So looking
I'm
back,
very,
looking back over your
it's been
life,
joy,
Betsy
always,
Palmer,
always, and
you don't
it's
have
still a
regrets
joy.
at all.
Oh, no, anything. Pain. I had pain in my life. Everybody does. But that was all part of the growth. That was all. I would never have
You've
changed
had some
any
tough
of it.
years in your life, Jill.
Haven't we all?
Yes. You've had some tough.
Don't worry, be happy. That's what my daughter and I sing around.
Oh, Johnny Carson. You used to go with him, right?
Yes, I
You were
did.
Johnny Carson's girlfriend. And several others.
He's a Scorpio like I am.
Ah.
Yeah.
Tell me about those days.
Well,
how did you, meet him or
Oh,
whatever?
well, I worked on his television series for a year. And in fact, I lived just about 3 or 4 blocks from the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel. And occasionally Johnny would come over and work on, remember how he used to always work on those graphs when he first started on TV? And he would work on those while I'd be out swimming, and he would be working up there. And we just became very, very good friends. And after my husband died, I did the Tonight Show once or twice. And I understand Mr. De Cordova is coming in to see me this week, so maybe I can get back on that show
Wouldn't that
again.
be nice?
That would be nice. Yeah, that would get things really rolling again. And what else did you ask me about? Who else did you want to know about?
I just want to know some of the men in your life. Yeah, you've had a lot of very interesting men in your life.
Well,
You
the
and
first time I stayed at the Hollywood Roosevelt, I'd come out here for a party that Frank Sinatra had invited me to attend.
That's it.
And that was like 1955,
How
I
is
think.
Frank Sinatra to no one, one-on-one, Jill?
He was very kind and very romantic and very generous. And
You speak Italian? Belly Italiana?
no, I sing one Italian number
You
when I
don't-
work Italian fairs. And it's just to, that's all I speak. Why did you ask me
Because I
that?
thought you're
He
Italian.
never speaks Italian.
No?
No, I don't think
He doesn't
so. I've
learn
never.
Italian?
Doesn't
I
know
know.
how to speak it.
No, my mother died when I was 4, so
So you didn't speak
Italian was not
Italian?
spoken in the house.
I was
But
married to an Italian. You know, my daughter
Yes.
is half Sicilian.
So do you speak
Half-
Italian?
No, I speak Spanish.
Your husband
so-
is a Sicilian, was he?
Yes, Siciliano.
The doctor,
Went to
Siciliano.
Sicily, too.
That's what I am, a Siciliano.
Are
too.
you
So-
really?
are you,
I love
Skip?
it.
That's why.
Have you ever gone to Sicily?
Oh, yes,
Oh,
Palermo's
beautiful
beautiful. It's absolutely
country.
lovely, yes.
Taormina,
I'm half
oh.
Italian.
So did I 2 years ago. That's why when I got off the plane, I learned my first Italian number. Because Italians, once I'd left France and we went to Italy, and it was like going to a new world. I mean, France, they were lovely and kind and everything, but in Italy, they were so warm and so
Sicily is
generous and
another country
buongiorno,
unto
and
itself.
everybody smiling. And I said, I have got to be able to understand what they're saying to me, all these lovely things. So I came home and I at least learned one Italian number, and just say I
Because you
love
grew
him.
up in this area, Pennsylvania, and it's Italians there, and they're wonderful.
Well, we also grew up in a time, if our parents were from Europe, and my dad was born in Prague, and I was first generation in this country. And I remember there was a whole thing about being foreign. You didn't want to be foreign.
Yes, true.
You
had to
didn't
say
want, my daddy
Yeah.
never taught me how to
Daddy,
speak the
don't speak
language.
Italian in front of my
And
friends, no.
I was ashamed that my father had an accent in those days. You know, I can't imagine why I was so stupid.
And I had the greatest father in the world. I eventually learned better, and we used to go on vacation together and all that. Yeah.
Favorite show on Broadway? What's your favorite?
That
you
I
have
did
That you have done?
myself.
What would you say?
I really enjoyed doing Same Time Next Year tremendously.
Really?
I did that for a year and a half.
Uh-huh.
Not that I didn't like Cactus Flower, but it didn't have the depth.
Cactus
That
Flower.
Doris, I
Yeah.
took over for Bacall after she left, for
Uh-huh.
Betty, when Betty left.
Uh-huh.
I loved, of course, South Pacific, which I did many times, but I'm not a singer, I'm an actress, and I...
But it's not that important to be a great singer if you...
Except
if you're,
that Rodgers and Hammerstein do not write easy music.
No,
I mean,
true.
there's a tessitura that goes
saw
on, and
you.
I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love. It's,
I saw you as Nellie Fulbush in South Pacific, and I thought you were a singer.
I did too.
I
I
thought
thought
you
she
did a
was wonderful.
wonderful job. I
Yes.
wouldn't say that out loud ever
I loved
again.
playing Nellie very much. I really
Maybe
did.
you can
I loved her
record,
very, very much.
you know.
No, well, I'm
again,
not
but-
really, no, I'm not really a singer.
what would you
at
tell
all.
the young people out there, and you two lovely ladies, you've been around for a long time, you know, there's a lot of young kids. I
You
have
know
two
what?
great people here. Let's
I
face it,
would
Betsy
never-
Palmer, what would you tell them to
I
come?
would never discourage them. If they want to be in show business, I would say, do it. Do it, jump in with both feet. If it's your destiny to have a career and have this part of your life, it will happen in spite of anything. It really will.
New York
But
or
I have
California?
loved it. I don't care where. It doesn't matter where. It doesn't matter. You'll be drawn where you're supposed to be.
Jill?
I had a singer, young singer last night in, and she was asking me advice, and I said, audition for everything, go to acting class, because there's very little work left in nightclubs or in cabaret. So that is not the way to go, though that's what she wanted to do. I said, you have to become an actress also. Then you start auditioning for all these wonderful little theaters that are cropping up here in California and that have always existed. And you start doing repertory, or you do regional. Or just get into theater so you can sing and act, and then hang in there.
That's
because if you want it, and it'll
And
happen.
you mustn't ever
And-
give
and
yourself a time limit. Never.
No.
You must not give yourself
No,
a
but
time
it is
limit.
good to set goals. It is good to
How do
say
you
that.
set goals? You can't see the entire picture. We
I
don't know
like
what the
setting
tapestry
goals.
of life is.
Betsy
Well,
Palmer?
Setting a goal is like saying a prayer. And it really
Betsy
makes-
Palmer?
But be sure you ask for something spiritual, because
Oh,
God
always.
is spiritual.
I
and not
love
for
you.
something
You two
material.
ladies, I just adore you.